Today, we're talking about the 5 ways to instantly gain respect as a new manager. Because here's what nobody told me when I first got promoted: respect isn't included with the title, it's earned through specific behaviors that most new managers don't even know that they're missing. So, in this video, we're breaking down 5 of those behaviors so you know exactly where to focus first and you don't end up wasting your time focusing on the wrong things. Now, this first one took me way too long to figure out as a new manager, because what I didn't realize was respect being built or lost has nothing to do with what you do and is about what you don't do. What you allow becomes the standard. Someone shows up late to your meeting, but you let it go because you don't want to make it weird during the first week. Or someone turns in work that's halfway done, so you end up fixing it yourself because it's faster. Or how about someone takes a tone with you that's a little disrespectful, but you just brush it off and move past it because you don't want to seem sensitive. And with all of these things, you just tell yourself, I'll address it later. I'm still building relationships and I'm just going to pick and choose my battles. Here's what's actually happening when you do that: you're setting the standard every single time. Not intentionally and not even consciously, but your team is watching what you respond to and what you don't. And whatever you don't respond to, well, that now becomes the floor and what's acceptable. And once that floor is set, it's really hard to raise it. I thought that letting things slide would make me more easygoing and approachable as a manager, but what it actually did was made it easy for my team to ignore me. Now, on the flip side, this doesn't mean that you come in on day one and start writing people up over everything. It means you pay attention early, and when something's off, you say something calmly and directly. Even something as simple as, hey, let's make sure we're starting on time going forward, sends a signal. And that signal is, I notice, I have standards, and this is what we do here. That's where respect starts. Now, setting the standard is one thing, but what happens when something actually goes wrong? When the pressure hits you and your team is looking at you to see how you're going to handle it? That's where this next respect builder comes in. Stay steady under pressure. At some point in your first few months, something is going to go wrong. And in that moment, your team isn't going to be focused on solving the problem. They're going to be focused on you. But sometimes new managers don't realize this, and they think the crisis is the main event. But to your team, they're watching your face and tone, and whether you look like you have it all together or like you're barely holding on. And here's the part that gets people. You can say, it's fine, we've got this, all day long. But if your body language says something otherwise, you're short with people, visibly stressed, palms are sweaty, then they already know. And they'll match that energy and will follow your emotional lead, regardless of what you're actually saying. Sometimes people think that staying steady means pretending everything is fine, but it actually doesn't. It means being the regulated, focused person in the room so your team can actually function. Sometimes things aren't fine, but how you choose to respond to it is what changes everything. So the next time something goes wrong, say, okay, here's what we're gonna do, instead of, I can't believe this is happening right now. That composure is one of the most respect-earning things a manager can do, and your team will remember it in the long run. This next one is frustrating because it feels like it's coming from a good place, but it's slowly undermining you every time. Stop explaining yourself. New managers over-explain, and I get it. You want to be transparent, and you want your team to understand your reasoning or seem like you're being fair. I thought that doing that would make my team buy in faster, but what I didn't realize is on their end, it looked like I was asking for approval. There's a difference between giving context and seeking validation. Context sounds like, we're shifting priorities because of X. Seeking validation sounds like, I know this might not be what everybody wanted, and I really thought about it, and I hope everyone understands why I had to make this call. See the difference there? One sounds like a leader, and the other sounds like someone who isn't sure they're allowed to be in charge yet. When you over-explain, you're signaling doubt, and people pick up on that signal even if they can't put their finger on it. They just start to feel like you're not sure of yourself. And if you're not sure of yourself, why should they be sure of you? So do this instead. Make the call, communicate it clearly, and move forward. You don't need a paragraph of justification every time. A sentence of context is usually enough. Explanations are for understanding, not approval. Stop over-explaining, and your team will start to see you differently almost immediately. So we've got what you say covered. Now let's talk about how much you say, because this one is gonna feel counterintuitive, especially if you're someone who likes to communicate a lot. Speak less than everyone else in the room. This one will probably go against every instinct you have as a new manager. When you're new, you feel the pressure to contribute and show that you know things and prove that you belong in the room. So you end up talking a lot, but it ends up backfiring, whether you realize it or not. The quietest person in most rooms is almost always perceived as the most powerful one. Think about the leaders you respected most. Were they the ones dominating every conversation? Or were they the ones who spoke with purpose? And when they did, everyone listened. Talking more doesn't make you look more confident. It makes you look like you need to be heard. And here's the part that might sting a little. Needing to be heard isn't the same as being worth listening to. Now, on the flip side, when you pull back, ask more questions than you answer, let the silence sit before you fill it, and save your point for the moment it actually matters, something shifts. People start to lean in when you do speak, and your words carry more weight because you're not competing with everything else you already said. Less really is more here. Try it in your next meeting and watch what happens. 4 down and 1 more to go. And I saved this one for last on purpose, because it's the most unsexy one on the list. Nobody really talks about it, but to your team, they're tracking it every single day, so don't skip this one. Be the most predictable person on your team. I know predictable doesn't sound exciting, but hear me out. Your team can't respect someone they can't read. If they don't know how you're going to react, they'll start managing around you instead of working with you. They'll filter what they say to you, or avoid bringing you problems. Or even worse, they'll walk on eggshells, and you'll wonder why communication feels off. Predictability is what makes you safe to work for. And safe to work for is the foundation everything else gets built on. Predictability shows up in 2 ways: how you react and what you do with that information after they tell you. If your team knows you're going to stay calm and be fair, they'll trust you. And if you say you'll follow up, follow up. Most managers don't do this. They get busy, they forget, or they move on, but your team notices every single time. So be the manager whose reaction your team can predict in their sleep. That's the kind of manager who earns respect without ever having to ask for it. So here's a quick recap. Respect isn't about having all the answers or making sure everyone knows you're in charge. It's about being someone your team can count on, consistently, under pressure, and even when it's uncomfortable. That's what people actually follow and how respect gets built. And the good news is you don't need months to build it. Everything we covered today, you can start doing tomorrow, whether it's in your next meeting, in your next one-on-one, or in that moment something goes wrong and your team looks at you to see how you're going to handle it. That's your moment, so use it. Once you get through your first few weeks of putting these into practice, come back and tell me which one made the biggest difference and drop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear all about it. And if this one resonated with you, I've got a video linked right here about what nobody warns you about when you get promoted from the team. Because once you watch that one, you'll understand exactly why respect felt so hard to gain in the first place. And if you're new here and you're navigating that early stage of management where everything feels harder than expected, subscribe. That's exactly what we talk about on this channel. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.